The lights dimmed to a rich blue as the band played a bold rendition of Hail to the Chief with a funky twist. The audience, already buzzing with anticipation, erupted into wild applause when Stephen Colbert stepped out from behind the curtain. Thank you, he called over the noise. Calm down, we still have to get through this together. Like a colonoscopy, but with more red ties. He walked to his desk, expression dancing with sarcasm. Now, tonight we have a guest who once held the most powerful office in the world and spent most of that time tweeting in all caps. He's a real estate mogul, a former TV star, and a part-time president. Please welcome Donald J. Trump. The audience exploded. Some stood and applauded. Others booed loudly. One woman in the front row simply shook her head in disbelief. Trump stepped out slowly, dramatically, like an actor at curtain call. He held up both hands, waved, and turned to the audience. Louder, he said smugly. Pretend I just lowered your gas prices again. Colbert extended a hand. Welcome, Mr. Trump, or do you prefer your orange majesty? Trump took the seat, unbothered. Call me whatever you want, Stephen. Just don't call me Joe. Colbert crossed his legs and leaned in. So tell us, how is private life treating you? No nuclear codes, no press pool, just golf carts and lawsuits? Trump grinned. It's fantastic. I sleep better. I eat better. I don't have to pretend Nancy Pelosi makes sense. Ah, so your blood pressure's down, but your court appearances are up? Colbert teased. Trump chuckled. You know what keeps my blood pressure down? Knowing I'm still living rent-free in the heads of people like you. The audience laughed, some nervously. Colbert raised his eyebrows. That's so, because I think I charge rent now. Ever since inflation hit, I'm making people pay for their thoughts. Trump shrugged. I made you relevant again. Before me, you were doing bits about Mitt Romney's khakis. Well, they were very beige, Colbert replied. Colbert picked up a card. You've urged boycotts against Disney, Coca-Cola, the NFL, Oreos. Trump interrupted. That's because they all went woke. I don't eat propaganda cookies. Colbert laughed. Oreos are now political? What's next, Tic Tacs with pronouns? Don't give them ideas, Trump deadpanned. But what about Coke? You used to drink like 12 Diet Cokes a day. Trump leaned in. I switched to water, the kind you don't need Fauci's permission to drink. The crowd roared. Colbert smirked. You realize you've basically turned your supporters into political Yelp reviewers? Better that than turning them into pronoun police, Trump said. Colbert pulled out a plush bird. Let's talk Twitter. Or, sorry, X. Your pal Elon bought it, fired everyone, then let you back in. Trump nodded. Elon's doing a good job. He's cutting out the garbage, and I respect that. Even when he bans reporters? Colbert asked. Trump shrugged. Some people deserve to be banned, especially ones who lie more than MSNBC. Colbert smiled. So, most of them? You said it, Trump said, raising his eyebrows. Do you ever miss tweeting at 3 a.m., Colbert asked. I still tweet at 3 a.m., Trump replied. Only now, I get even more engagement. Colbert's tone shifted. Let's address the elephant in the room. And no, I don't mean the Republican mascot. I'm talking about Charlottesville, the Muslim ban, the wall. People say you promoted division. Trump's eyes narrowed. They say that because they're lazy thinkers. They repeat what CNN spoon-feeds them. You said there were very fine people on both sides at a Nazi rally, Colbert pressed. Trump leaned forward. I was talking about people protesting statues, not Nazis. But nobody plays the full clip. They twist it. You twist it. Colbert didn't blink. So you're saying that's all a media distortion? Everything is, Trump said. They hate me because I say what no one else will. I called out China. I called out NATO. I called out globalists. And they panicked. A few audience members clapped. Others booed louder. You love it when people boo you, don't you? Colbert asked. I love truth, Trump replied. And truth usually gets booed in rooms like this. A young man in the second row stood up and shouted, You're a traitor. Trump pointed, You're an intern who can't afford rent. Gasps, laughter, chaos. A woman yelled, You ruined the country. Trump shot back, Lady, I lowered your taxes. You're welcome. Colbert raised his hands. Let's cool it down. This isn't a Trump rally. It's starting to feel like one, Trump said. Only your crowd smells more like soy and hand sanitizer. The audience booed. Trump stood, turned to them. You want to boo? Fine, but deep down you miss me. Your bank accounts miss me. Your gas tanks miss me. Even your comedy misses me. Colbert leaned into his mic. I miss facts. You miss ratings, Trump said. And look at this crowd. You just got them back. Colbert paused, letting the tension simmer. Last question, he said. What do you think your legacy will be? Trump sat back, expression serious. That I changed the conversation. That I broke the media's chokehold. That I exposed the liars, the cowards, the phonies. And that I showed America what real leadership looks like. Messy, loud, unapologetic. You sure it's not just chaos with good lighting? Colbert asked. Trump grinned. Chaos wins elections, Stephen. Colbert took a long breath. Well, that's all the time we have. Trump stood. Too bad, I was just warming up. He turned to the crowd. America first, comedy second, God bless. He walked off stage to a storm of applause, boos, and pure noise. The air outside CBS studios was sharp and cold. Inside the building, the stage lights had dimmed, the laughter had faded, and Stephen Colbert was already back in his dressing room, sipping from a lukewarm herbal tea, staring at his reflection in the mirror, his own smirk looking a little less certain. He had done interviews before, politicians, musicians, former presidents, but nothing had felt quite like this. Trump hadn't flinched, hadn't cracked, hadn't lost the room, even when the room was doing everything in its power to reject him. Stephen's phone buzzed, nonstop. His assistant tried to read out headlines as they dropped. Trump dismantles Colbert in electric interview. That's the Daily Wire. Wait, Colbert holds ground in Firestorm showdown. That's MSNBC. CNN says a disaster for democracy or a win for ratings. She hesitated. They're kind of all over the place. In living rooms and dorm rooms all across the country, the conversation was already boiling. In a cramped college dorm room in Ann Arbor, Michigan, 3 poli-sci majors sat huddled around a laptop replaying the clip where Trump called the audience soy latte sippers. Dude, I hate how funny that is, one of them groaned. He literally mocked a woman for booing him. On TV, how is this real? Said another. Meanwhile, in a barbershop in Tallahassee, a flat-screen TV was tuned to Fox News. I tell you what, the barber said, clapping his hands once. That man knows how to walk into enemy territory and come out swinging. Colbert thought he was going to roast him. Trump roasted the whole damn studio. The next morning, the country woke up to a digital hurricane. At CNN, producers scrambled in the control room. The morning segment opened with Anderson Cooper leaning toward the camera, eyes narrowed. What we witnessed last night was not comedy. It was a carefully orchestrated campaign rally, disguised as late-night satire. In contrast, over at Fox News, Laura Ingraham was practically gleaming. Donald Trump entered the liberal lion's den and turned it into a petting zoo. Colbert never stood a chance. The audience booed. Trump laughed. That's power. A chyron at the bottom of the screen read, Trump dominates Colbert's stage. Zero woke, zero sugar goes viral. By mid-afternoon, the quote was on mugs. The New York Times ran a half-page analysis with a black and white photo of Trump mid-smirk, hands outstretched like a preacher. In his element, again, Trump's late-night rally. Beneath the photo, the article argued Trump had reclaimed the cultural battlefield in a space long dominated by progressives. Across the political aisle, the New York Post screamed, late-night bloodbath. Trump flattens Colbert. The Washington Post was more measured, its headline reading, shock, applause, and booing. A nation watches itself in the mirror. And tucked inside, The Atlantic was a damning op-ed titled, Colbert lost because he forgot it was never a game. In campaign headquarters at Trump's Mar-a-Lago base, the inner circle had stayed up late watching live. When Trump returned from the studio, still in his Navy suit, aides erupted in cheers. Jason Miller grabbed him by the shoulder. You broke the algorithm, boss. I always do, Trump said, grinning, already scrolling through his Truth Social feed. Dan Scavino showed him a trending graph. We're up 37% across all platforms. Your line about soy and hand sanitizer is #1 on TikTok. Trump turned to the group. See, they hate me so much, they can't stop sharing me. Someone clapped. Another poured champagne. We didn't just win the room, Trump said. We won the internet. Again. At Columbia University, students gathered in clusters on the lawn, phones in hand, arguing over what it meant. A senior named Valerie Martinez, editor of the campus paper, was already writing her editorial. This wasn't just cringe TV. It was a cultural Rorschach test. Whatever you wanted to see in Trump, you saw. And that's what makes him so dangerous. Her roommate, meanwhile, was doom-scrolling Twitter. Why are people memeing it like it was funny, she muttered. He humiliated Colbert and people are laughing. That's the scary part. Screens lit up across the country with DMs like, "Bro, did you see what Trump said to that protester? He roasted the audience on CBS. Who even does that? Why did Colbert let him walk all over him?" Can't believe when I'm saying this, but Trump was actually sharp. Even celebrities weighed in. Chrissy Teigen posted an Instagram story saying, "Can we please stop giving this man oxygen? Late night isn't for fascism." Elon Musk replied on X with a simple, "Colbert got smoked." And Barack Obama, though silent, was reportedly displeased, according to a journalist who caught wind from one of his aides. In the writers' rooms backstage at The Late Show, Colbert's writers sat around a whiteboard. There were sketches to plan, rewrites to finish, but no one was typing. Did we just make him look cool?" one of them whispered. "He used our house to throw a party," said another, "and the crowd didn't leave." Colbert re-entered the room, set down his now cold tea, and sighed. "Let's not pretend it wasn't real," he said. "Let's just make sure next time we own the narrative." And in the silence between somewhere in Kansas, a single mother watched the replay quietly, her toddler asleep in the next room. She didn't clap. She didn't boo. She just stared. She didn't like Trump, never had. But when he looked into the camera and said, "I speak like real people, and real people are tired of being told they're racist for loving their country," she felt something stir. She wouldn't post about it. She wouldn't tweet. But she'd remember it, maybe in November.